With me right now, I have Sean Murphy. We just finished episode 2 of the Making More Money for You show. Taking a look back at board games, and gonna do a little decompression with Sean as his first time appearance on the show, and get his feelings and what he likes to see happen next.
Well, I think this was a heck of a way to spend an afternoon, getting to sit down with an old friend and kind of chat and you know bring up some of the stuff from those games that we played as kids that really did influence how life turned out for so many people and what their goals and strategies became, whether or not they were aware that they were learning those lessons. You know, it's it's cool to see where we're sitting now. you know uh
That's for sure.
it's there's been a lot that's kind of gone into us getting to the point where we can sit down and have one of these conversations, and where we're both now out here trying to help others,
Mhm.
and help others manage their money, help people protect their money, help people grow as human beings. uh, if you'd have asked me 20 years ago if this is where I saw myself, no, not at all, not at all. Uh, but it's interesting to be here now and to be able to look back and say, okay, we're not where we want to be yet, but wow, things are going well, and there's a lot to be grateful for.
Definitely grateful for everything right now, and you're right. We're not where we want to be, but we're making progress towards that,
hmm every day.
and helping people along the way, solving problems for them, and we're also solving our problems by helping someone.
hmm
As you know, what you're doing it on the financial end with investing, and also life insurance, because that's scary for people and for families and whatnot, because death, we all die. Now if you're going to be prepared for it or not, and whoever's left behind, that's a different story. You're doing it on that aspect. I'm doing it with this radio show and with the books I'm writing to actually educate the people, to let them know they have options.
Well, and one of the specific products that we offer, um, it does work as a life insurance product, but man, it does so much more as far as an investment vehicle, as far as getting you to where those goals are. More and more people you hear on the internet, these concepts of, you hear the word infinite banking being thrown around a lot.
Right.
And the concept actually comes from a life insurance product, a indexed universal life. And what that is, yeah, it's going to be able to cover you that life insurance benefit that's going to be able to, pay out those death benefits if something should happen to you early. But it's also setting you up for the future to where you're not going to outlive your money, and you'll have a legacy to pass down, and you're going to be able to set yourself up to retire. You're going to be able to get yourself out of debt free, out of debt. Super exciting things,
Right.
these concepts coming from a life insurance product. And what's great about it is, okay, wouldn't it be awesome if your 401k or your IRA never lost money?
I'd be up for that. I'm intrigued.
Okay, so what if it had a floor of a 0.5%? So you can take part in market gains. Every time there's market gains, you're going to take part in those, but you don't take part in market losses. You stop at a 0.5%. That's kind of how an IUL functions,
Okay.
is where we're going to take advantage of those market gains. We're not going to get held up in those market losses. Another, great thing about it is, if you're part of this infinite banking, borrowing from yourself instead of the bank,
Mhm.
paying yourself the interest instead of the bank. And these are things that, everybody thinks life insurance, they think about, this is only going to affect me when I'm dead. Well, we're always in this industry thinking about, well, what happens if you don't die? you know,
It's
and on more levels than one. One is, hey, well, then you want this money that you've been paying every month to do something for you, right? So let's build up a future for you with this money that you're paying. Well, what happens if it's something bad, but you don't die? Well, let's get you access to some of that with living benefits. Let's help you get through transitioning stages of what would be devastating. Doesn't have to be devastating. a bad car accident to where now you can't work anymore.
Right.
We could look at a disability income replacement option. Things like heart attack, cancer, stroke, things that you could live through, but could change your life to where you can't work, or to where you can't work in the same field, and now you need to relearn a new skill. Those are things that can put people out of their homes, put them on the street, financially devastate them. So life insurance isn't always about if you die. That's the big thing that more people should realize. What if you live? That's the question.
That's the other half of the
We're
coin
gonna
right
die.
there.
We're gonna die, but what happens if you don't? What's your plan for if you don't? So that's kind of how we were talking in the show a little bit there about people being completely in the dark, kind of, as far as what these things are. They don't have these courses for you in high school,
No.
about how to handle your checkbook, how to invest your money, how to prepare for insurance needs. And it's fun because somebody will go out and they'll spend how much money a month to insure this, and they'll insure their phone, they'll insure their laptop, but then they're running around and they haven't insured themselves
Or their house.
right. So I've got car insurance. I'm going to
Yes.
complain about paying it, but I understand it's important. I got phone insurance. I opted for that. That's not forced on me.
Right. You're right. You're right.
So there's some kind of a disconnect, because we all feel like, even though we know we're going to die, we feel invincible until we're not. And then unfortunately that's the point where it's too late. And if I could get more people to realize that when you're young and healthy is the best time to be looking at these things, rather than when it's going to cost you so much money that now you can't afford it.
Yeah.
And not enough people have got that foresight, especially the younger invincible crowd.
Oh yeah, I understand the 18 to 29-year-olds, well, to 29. Yeah, I understand.
I think it's even
In
I
there.
think it's creeping up there. It's like how they say 50 is the new 40. I think when it comes to people's views on their health, they're feeling invincible longer. It's not till that first, like, oh man, my hip told me it's going to rain. And I think people handle it. I think that's something that you run into as well with people starting out in investing. How
Yes.
many people should have started a 401k when they were 19?
When they got their first job? Absolutely.
But
I don't
instead,
recommend 401ks, but it's a good starting
I
point.
don't either. Well, to some
It's a
extent,
starting point.
if your company's going to match, put in what they'll match, not a penny more,
Exactly.
because that's free money.
I agree.
But not a penny more, not a penny more. But the idea, the concept is, why didn't they start investing younger? Well, because they have time. And right now, beer money's more important. And
You're right. And gas. Well, gas nowadays with that, but now people
Well, yeah,
don't
you
buy
got-
that much. Honestly, nowadays it's more or less, well, I need to get the latest download for the last game I got.
Mhm. Well, and that's really insidious. It's the microtransactions that have came into. Remember when we used to buy a video game and it came in a cartridge?
Yeah.
And the whole game was there.
Yep.
The whole game.
The whole game,
Bought it
everything,
with
one
no payment.
cartridge. That's all you had.
Yep. I bought the game. Now it's, you buy the game, you buy the season pass, you buy all the skins, you buy the microtransactions. And so, did the price of a video game change when you buy the disc? Not that
No.
much. Not that much. Did the overall price of a game change? Drastically.
Absolutely.
Drastically. And then monthly subscriptions to some of them. Now, some of them might get the monthly subscriptions because you got to pay people to run the updates and keep these things running, if they're these big massive online endeavors and things like that.
I agree. The infrastructure is important. Everybody should pay to use the infrastructure.
And that makes sense to me. But when it's hey, we're gonna put out this game, it's a single player game, and we're gonna put out a partial unfinished product that you're gonna pay for in advance, because the pre-release hype, you're going to spend an extra $30 for it so you can get the commemorative pink unicorn that shoots Thor's hammers out of her eyes, uh, that really is just a skin for the regular pony. It's not actually, the lightning bolts don't do anything except for, so that kind of thing, that insidiousness really cuts into these kids' ability to recognize an investment.
I've actually seen a couple teenagers that are about ready to graduate high school actually transform into gaming, to actually coming towards the human race, of actually getting out and doing things. And it took him to get his first job to do it. Granted, he's 18 years old, and he finally got his first job to do stuff. But as soon as he's working for something, now he wants to go out driving. He wants to learn to drive. He wants to work on the vehicles now. Now he's wants to be out with his dad and not with his friends on the console, because I'm not going to say which console it is, because
right, we're not
all consoles are. I'm probably going to get a lot of flack about some of the stuff we have talked about, but that's okay. I'm all right with that.
Well, and but there's a lot of good that has come from the electronic entertainment. There's a lot of good that's come out of there. But there are dangers, just like with anything. You have to have moderation.
But the most dangerous thing they're investing is their time.
Yeah, you don't
Can't
get it
be
back.
replenished.
Yep. And that's the thing, is as we get older, we start thinking about things like this word called legacy.
Yes.
What are we leaving behind? What's the impact that we've made? What are we doing to help others? And I don't know that there's a magic number, for when people start thinking about the impact that they're having in the world. In fact, I can tell you, there is no magic number for that. It's a maturity thing that happens with people's mind. With what we do, I work with agents who are half my age, that are way further mature than I am, even at this point, and they get it, and they're already building a legacy and an impact on the world and helping other people and other families. But they're exactly right. Exactly what you said. You don't get that time back.
No.
I'm 40. I'm turning 45 here next month. Woo! There we go.
All right.
Nice multiple of 5 coming up there. 42 was awesome. I loved being 42, just because it's the answer to life and everything in the universe. But then it was like, what do I got to look forward to now? Senior discount. But
I'm getting the ARP stuff still. So
so here it is. Turning 45. Now I'm thinking about legacy. What's the impact? What have I done? What have I done that's going to make a mark, as opposed to just taking up space, eating food, and breathing air? And that's kind of changed everything about how I look at what we're going to do in a day, and that's changed how I look at who I'm going to spend time with. It's changed what I'm willing to overlook, versus what I'm going to say, no, this is a non-negotiable. This is how things are going to be done. And you can't stress that enough. Exactly what you just touched on there. That time, it doesn't come back. And young people, if they don't realize that, it's real easy to throw 150 hours into one game.
Oh, that's
3 weeks.
Absolutely.
And that's just so they can go, whoo, I got my platinums, throw it away and never touch it again.
Yes, I got my achievements, if you will. There are achievements across the board. So it's like I got this extra 5, 10, whatever, but they don't do anything.
Yeah. And that's been one of the things that, my wife is like, I don't understand NFTs. She says, we're paying real money for video game stuff. I'm like, people have been doing it for years.
Yeah. Now it's just in a very small, portable, digitalized. It's the next version of DRMs. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Apple got enough of it, the DRMs, digital rights music movement, that they put on all their stuff, And now somebody has programmed it that they are doing it with everything else in the world.
Mhm.
They're making money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, there's a whole industry that's springing up overnight over it.
Mhm.
And, you can't help but think they're getting us ready for something big.
Oh yeah, there's other stuff coming out. There's more advancements that are going behind the scenes right now. Actually, even trading stocks right now, some of the companies that I've invested in just recently are more or less automation type of stuff because that's where everything is going.
Mhm.
And it's going to be going that way because one, the film industry already predicted it. So people are actually now moving forward with it and it's becoming reality.
Mhm. Well, and now more and more people have more and more time on their hands.
Yes.
If you just look around, and COVID only accelerated it. We were already on a trend to more and more people realizing that they could break out of the office.
Mhm.
More and more people realizing that there's a lot of time wasted in a workday
Yeah.
that you can't get back. And now you take those same people who've had that realization and you put them at home for a year and let them work from home. Well, you know what you're going to do when you're at home and you got other stuff you want to do? You're going to get that work done in a real efficient manner, aren't you? Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you're
And
going to also work later hours. You're going to
mhm,
not realize what time it is because you're
mhm,
going to be, you don't have to drive anywhere.
right. My commute
So,
is I get up from my desk, I close my laptop, and I walk downstairs.
exactly.
Now, you know, there's good things and bad things about that. But what
Mhm.
we're creating more free time faster for people. And what we're going to see is, these big trends for we've got to keep everybody entertained.
Right.
Bread and circus. We got to keep everybody fed and we got to keep everybody entertained. And so the real big winners, I think, out of everybody, kind of getting out of the workplace is going to be the entertainment industry. It's going
Mhm.
to be video games. It's going to be movies. It's going to be
Your streaming services.
streaming services. Those things that people can do. Delivery. Like look at what happened with everybody locked home, and all of a sudden, well, you can still get everything delivered to you.
Right.
So, the big losers are going to be the box stores.
Mhm.
The big winners are going to be the Amazons of the world that are doing the deliveries. And, more and more people are going to be at home longer, doing more things in the home. And so, I think one of the things that we're as a society going to have to look at is not having everybody isolated. You know, People aren't going to have that human connection, just like you were saying. Now, he's 18 years old. He's got his first job. Now he's realizing that there's a world outside the house.
Yeah, and he's actually enjoying being outside the house. He still games, don't get me wrong, but it's not his 90% of the time type of thing now. Now it's like 5% of the time because there's so much more that he's actually trying to make up time for the stuff that he missed.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah. One of the things I've been kind of toying with, and I haven't quite got it all figured out yet, is kind of my boys are into role playing games and stuff like that
Mhm.
on the consoles and things like that. So how do I translate that into life skills? Oh, okay, buddy, you put enough experience into this, you're gonna level it up. So
Uh,
okay, so you're a fast runner. Okay, well, it must be because you've been running a lot and you enjoy running, and so you do it more. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So you're leveling up. I'm trying to translate
mhm.
these game systems into how they treat things that they do in life. Yeah.
Right. Like your chores. Uh,
Hmm.
especially because they teach responsibility and whatnot. You do all your things, here's your bonus, here's your paycheck, here's your this, here's your that. There's actually, I actually have a worksheet for this in my investor's toolbox that actually has a spreadsheet that you can actually add and subtract things on a spreadsheet for chores per child. And you can
Well,
actually set the uh like if you curse minus 25 cents or minus $1, whatever it is. And they will show in like real time if you have like a smart TV or you can put it on your screen and whatnot. and it will show you real-time data, because it's a spreadsheet with the calculations built into it per child.
That's kind of cool. Now, is it treating them more as a gig type worker when it comes to the chores, or is it treating them more as like a trade your time for money?
It can do both. It depends on what you want to set it up as.
Because one thing that I'm definitely trying to break is that cycle
Oh
of
yes.
feeling like trading time for money is a way to get ahead in the future, because it's not.
No, I'll agree with that.
That's one of the things they don't teach us.
Mhm.
In fact, when you look at the way a lot of the systems are put into place, it's to teach us that what we should do is trade our time for money and
Mhm.
never get ahead and be good employees. You know, so one of the things that I'm showing my kids, not necessarily teaching them by telling them, but showing them is, look, we don't trade our time for money.
No.
We're not doing that. We're done with that. That's the old way of doing things. Now we make money, and then we make the money work for us.
Mhm.
And so that's that's kind of the way we're going there. I'm looking forward to getting some more projects on board with you as far as how we're going to be teaching these kids these lessons, because there's a
Okay.
lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, yeah, because the it's more or less project based. You get the project done, you get paid for it. Done.
Yep.
Time is irrelevant. You get the project done, you get your pay for it. You
Hmm.
screw up on it, or you curse or do anything for this, it gets taken off, and then you get the money that's left. No time
Yep.
management.
Yep. That's it right there. And that's exactly the way my business works. I I I don't get paid by how much time I sit down with you. You're not
No,
paying me by how long it takes to sit and work with you. I'm getting paid by this third party based off of how well I'm able to help you.
exactly. You're solving a
So if I
problem.
do it properly and I solve your problem, I'm going to get paid. If I can't solve your problem, I'm going to shake your hands. I'm going to point you in another direction,
Exactly.
but I'm going to get paid. I
Right.
don't get paid for showing up. I don't get paid for punching a clock.
Mhm.
Only results. That's the only thing that's going to put money in the account. And that's one part. Now the next part is to have the money work for us. We're getting to
Right.
that.
And that's
You know.
another. I'm working on something else for that as well.
Yep.
So I'm constantly working on things to improve, and like you're working on to improve things, and it's a good learning experience from where I've started, where I'm at now, and it's constantly gaining traction. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we're actually wow, we've been talking for quite some time now, and I know you
I
got to
know.
get back to work.
I do. I got some phone calls to make. I got some clients that I've got to call, and some leads that just came in today. Speaking of leads, I'm definitely curious to work with you as far as how that lead generation idea of yours is going to play out.